You're in the 4 o'clock funk hour on Power AM 620. The voice of the community.
In the south side of Syracuse, Sunday afternoons mean one thing. Dr. Rick Wright on the radio.
The 2 o'clock hour is our church spotlight hour. The 3 o'clock hour is our community hour. The 4 o'clock hour is the 4 o'clock funk hour.
Take a walk around the community and listen to the people in the barbershop on the corner.
I listen to it every day on my way home.
I think Dr. Rick Wright does a super job.
And listen to the people in the soul food diner down the street.
What are we listening to? 620.
They are all tuned in to the only urban radio station in the area. So how did the switch from FM to AM feel to the community?
Talk to us, man. What's happening?
What's happening is that although the radio station is still there, many people in the urban community don't feel like their voice is well represented by the media companies.
About a quarter of the Syracuse population is African American. And when you look at the radio stations in the area, it is easy to see why the urban community feels like they have lost their voice. But ownership felt that making the switch was the best option.
We had three choices if we wanted to grow the radio station. Get out of the format altogether, water the radio station down so that it had appeal to Caucasians. So the only other choice was to move it to the AM dial.
But what replaced the station represents a bigger issue.
Pretty much from a business standpoint, we reflect the culture. People want to listen to Glenn Beck.
Switching the station for WSYR's lineup of shows like Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh give the urban community the feeling their voice is being muffled for talk radio that does not fairly represent Syracuse's African American population. In Thomas's Kitchen, in the heart of the South Side, that feeling of being pushed aside is evident.
Glenn Beck is not, what is he going to tell you about the urban community? Besides anything, nothing positive. Same thing with Rush Limbaugh.
And the lack of urban representation limits where the community can turn for a fair chance to use their voice.
We don't have a choice because there's not another pony show in town.
It is time for the 4 o'clock funk hour.
On the radio, the only horse in the race is Power 620 AM, and Dr. Rick Wright's Old School Sundays continues to truly be the voice of the community.
I'm always amazed by the show, and I'm not really pushing my own horn or whatever. I go out in the streets, man, and people just run up to me, and that kind of stuff happens, It seems like I'm having some level of impact out there.
Being the only locally produced radio show catering to the urban community is a responsibility Dr. Wright takes wholeheartedly.
We have a responsibility as broadcasters meant to elevate the population.
And he continues to elevate the voice of the urban community one Sunday at a time. Robert Lowry, NCC News.
Hey, John, give me one of them superstar ladies with all that money, man.